Fourth grade lesson 2.12 is solving multi-step problems using equations. You want a little algebra? We'll do a little algebra. This is some basic level algebra introduction sorts of things that you start using at fourth grade. Multi-step means we are going to be given this question, this puzzle that we've got to find the end to. We've got to find an answer, but it's going to take us a couple of calculations to get there probably. And so we're like detectives. We're going to solve this mystery. We've got this. Let's get started. Our essential question is, how can you represent and solve more than one step problems using equations? Equations are what we're using when we're talking about the basics of algebra. Unlock the problem. Let's see what we're in for. We are the storm. Krismari's computer has 3 hard drives with 64 gigabytes of space each, and 2 hard drives with 16 gigabytes of space each. The files on her computer use 78 gigabytes of space. How much hard drive space does her computer have left? What? Oh my goodness. Okay, that was step 1. We're okay. Underline the question. How much hard drive space does her computer have left? Okay, let's circle the information they gave me. Her computer has 3 hard drives that have 64 gigabytes of space. And then it has, I'm going to change colors here, 2 hard drives with 16 gigabytes of space each. And the files on her computer use 78 gigabytes of space. How much hard drive space does her computer have left? Ooh, this is a lot. I'm going to draw a picture. Let's draw a picture. We have 3 hard drives with 64 gigabytes of space available. 1, 2, 3 of them. We have 2 hard drives with 16 gigabytes of space on them. And she has used, I better change the color for what she has used. She has used up 78 gigabytes. Okay. All right. Well, first they give us the steps on this, but hopefully you started seeing when we started drawing. First we see, she's got 3 hard drives that have 64 gigabytes available. 3 that have 64 gigabytes. Altogether, that's a total amount, is unknown right now, but that's 64 3 times over, or 3 times 64 equals that unknown number. And now they're, instead of a blank there, they're saying it's an unknown number. Give it a variable. We'll call it n. When we're giving it a variable, we can call it whatever variable we want to. It could be x or z. I usually use x, but they're using n, like maybe n for number. I don't know. 3 times 64 equals n, our unknown number, our variable n. Okay, well, we can do that calculation just fine. Let's take care of that right now. 64 times 3, and remember, this is 60 plus 4. We're going to do 3 times 4 in case we have any spillover, and that is 12, and that does spill over. And then we will do 3 times 6. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 1 more is 19. So we find out that n equals 192. That is for the first set. But then we have the other 2 hard drives that each are 16. Altogether, that's some number that we don't know. They gave it the variable p. And so we would do 2 16s. 2 times 16 equals this unknown number that we're calling p. We're using a different variable than this because it's a different number. So we'll do the calculation for that. 16 times 2. Remember, that's 10 plus 6. So 2 times 6 is 12. We'll carry over. And 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So that's 32. P equals 32. Okay. And that told me how much hard drive space she had with this and this. She has 192 with this, and she has 32 with this. But we need to know how much altogether she has, don't we, before we start talking about how much she used. So how much altogether has she used? Well, does she have, I should say. How much does she have? She has 192 with these, and then another 32 with these. Let's put them together to find out how much total space she has. Putting them together gives me all of this, another unknown number. We'll call it A, a variable A. And if you're putting things together, of course, you recognize that that is addition. So we do 192 plus 32. 100, oops, my pen died. There it goes. 192 plus 32. And then we go 2 plus 2, that's 4. 9 plus 3, that's 9, 10, 11, 12. Carry over. You guys are good at this now. 1 plus 1 is 2. So all together, the amount of space she has is 224. I'm going to put that in my picture. This is the amount of space she has on her computer. Okay. Back to my question. How much hard drive space does her computer have left? Because remember, she's using some of it. Okay, so if she starts off with 224 gigabytes available, but she uses 78 of that, what calculation do I do in order to find out what's left? So she has 224, and then she uses 78 of that. Yeah, right, we're going to subtract it, right? But this is the space left. If we add it to the 78 that she's used, it would total the 224 that she has. So we need to take the 224 here and subtract 78 from it to find out this unknown amount they gave it the variable y. 224 minus 78 equals y. All right, let's do it. Let's do the calculation. 224 minus 78. You guys have the subtraction down pretty well. 4 minus 8 can't be done. If I have 4, you can't take 8 from me. Let's go borrow from next door. 14 minus 8. I don't have 14 fingers, so I'm going to start at 8 and count up to 14 on my fingers. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That is 6. I have 1, take away 7. I can't do it. Go borrow from your neighbor. And 11 minus 7. I'm going to start at 7, count up to 11 on my fingers. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 4. And 1 minus nothing is 1. So y equals 146. Question was, how much hard drive space does her computer have left? She has 146 gigabytes left. She had 224. She used 78. That leaves her with 146 left. Looked so difficult, and it feels difficult, but you know how to do every one of these calculations. It's just tackling that monster and going into it and knowing what you need. Takes practice, but you'll be good at it. On that same story, as you go along and practice these more and more, you start recognizing what calculations need to be done. You just start kind of seeing it with practice. And so you may right away recognize, oh, I need to do 64 together 3 times 64. And I need to add that to 2 of these 16s, 2 times 16. And once I have all of that, I need to take 78 away. And so you might end up with this really extensive equation like this, ready to go. If we have different operations, we have multiply here, add here, and subtract here. If there are different operations, then we must go in the proper order of operations, or else we're going to have errors. So there is a really specific order of operations. For now, I'll just let you know that multiplication and division must happen before addition and subtraction. And it always comes, whatever comes first, left to right of those two. So we cannot move down to the addition subtraction operations until we have cleared all of the multiplication division, until we have checked off this box. and cleared all of any multiplication division that is in the whole row, starting from left to right. Once we clear all those, then we can go to the next checkbox and clear that. So keeping that in mind, the only operations we could do first in all of this is 3 times 64 would have to happen first, and 3 times 64 like we did before. We have 60 plus 4. 3 times 4 is 12 with the carry over. 3 times 6 is, this is 3 times 60, right? But we're already in the tens place. 3 times 6 is 18 plus 1 is 19. And we get 192. Okay, and when we have all kinds of operations like this, I usually will do one item, cross off what I did, bring down what I haven't done yet. We haven't done the 2 times 16 minus 78. So let's take a look down the row here. That's an addition. I cannot go to the addition row until all multiplication division is cleared and there is still multiplication here. So this has to happen first, this 2 times 16, or 16 times 2. I'm going to bring down this 192 to that spot. I'm not doing anything with it right now. And then I'm going to calculate this multiplication of 16 times 2. Remember, this is 10 plus 6, so we'll do the 2 times 6 first. 2 times 6 is 12. And then 2 times 10, but we're already in the tens place, so 2 times 1 then. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. And that answer is 32. Let's cross off what we did, bring down what we didn't do. All right, so here we are with our next, cleaned up a little bit. It's like cleaning your room. This was a messy room. We picked up one little thing and now it's a little cleaner. Cleaned up another little thing, now it's a little cleaner. It is just add and subtract now. So yes, we have cleared all the multiplication division out of there. Now we are allowed to move down to the next row, doing any add or subtraction that shows up, whichever shows up first. And in this case, the addition shows up first. 192 plus 32. And you've been doing addition just fine all along. 2 plus 2 is, we start in the ones column, 2 plus 2 is 4. 9 plus 3 is 9, 10, 11, 12. That requires a little carryover there. 1 plus 1 is 2. That is 224. I cross off what I did, bring down what I didn't do. And now I just need to do the calculation of 224 minus 78. Something, again, that you're pretty good at by now. I want to do 4 subtract 8, but I cannot do that, so I'll go borrow from the neighbor. 14 minus 8. I don't have 14 fingers, so what I'll do is start at 8 and count up to 14 on my fingers. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That is 6 fingers. 1 minus 7 I cannot do. I'll borrow from my neighbor. 11 minus 7 I could do. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 4. Oops. 4. And then 1 minus nothing is 1. I end up with 146. N equals 146. So this was our chance to introduce a little bit about order of operations. There are more steps above this that we'll get into later that have to clear before multiplication and division can clear, but we'll talk about those later. For now, since we're only looking at multiplication and add and subtract, we really just needed to focus on which comes before the other. All multiplication division must be cleared when there are multiple types of operations going on. All right, on number 1 for share and show. This gives us the practice a little bit of using that correct order of operations if you have more operations than just multiply or just addition. So we have a multiplication operation, add operation, multiply operation, and a subtract operation. So we have to go in the proper order. All multiplication and division must be cleaned up first. They must all happen before you can go to add or subtract. So I start at this end and look for any multiplication or division. Here is my first one. And I've just get in the habit of underlining it. That way I tell my brain this is exactly what needs to be done. I need to do 5 times 17 first. So I will come over here and do 17 times 5. 5 times 17, same thing. That is 10 plus 7 for 17. So I will do the 5 times 7, which is 35. 5 times 1, which is 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'll write it here. I'm going to write that in a better color. Cross off what you did, bring down everything you didn't do, one step to cleaning the room, right? Have we cleared all the multiplication division? I don't know. Let's see. Nope, there's the next thing. Underline that. That has to happen next. Very important. You will not get the correct answer if you do that addition before the multiplication. So we have to do 5 times 20 or 20 times 5. 5 times 2 is 10 with that 0 on the end, or the way it works out is 5 times 0 is 0, right? And then 5 times 2 is 10. So that gave me 100. Oopsie, that's the wrong spot, see? 100. Cross off what you did, bring down what you didn't do. These are the things I didn't do anything to. I cannot go past multiplication, division. I can't go on to add, subtract until I have cleared all of this, and it looks like I just have add and subtract left. So that's good. Then we have cleared all multiplication, division. Now I can look at add or subtract, whichever comes first, left to right. So the first one I'm going to do is right here, 85 plus 100. And I'm going to get 185. Cross off what I did and bring down what I didn't do. And now my last operation is that subtraction. That's going to be 185 minus 32. 5 minus 2 is 3. 8 minus 3 is 5. And 1 minus nothing is 1. 153. So if you would just remember this checkoff list for this lesson, that will help you. Also, this is one of the things where I tell my students, give yourselves lots of room to do your math. So you could do each of these steps and underline what you need to do, cross off what you did, bring down what you didn't do, and then it looks, and you've got to keep it nice and neat. So let's practice a few more. All right, more practice at order of operations. I put our checklist here. Multiplication or division must be cleared first, starting from left and moving to the right. That's why I put that arrow there. Once we clear all of that out, then we can look at any add or subtract starting from the left and moving to the right. That's why I have that arrow there. I'm going to suggest you have a piece of paper for this. You do not want to try and squeeze your math in between here. The math needs some elbow room on this. So I wrote it out. I would write it out on a piece of paper, give myself some room. And I'm looking for any multiplication or division, whichever comes first as I go from this side. And here is the first one I'm going to do. So I will underline that, so my brain knows exactly what I need it to do. That is 22 times 3. 3 times 2 is 6, and then 3 times 2 is 6. That ends up being 66. Cross off what I did, bring down what I did not do yet, equals some unknown number. We'll call it the variable n for right now. Check and make sure I've cleared all multiplication division starting from here. Oh, there we go. There's another multiplication that has to go next. That is 41 times 7, or 7 times 41. This is 40 plus 1, so we'll do 7 times 1 is 7. And 7 times 4 is 28. And that gave us 287. Cross off what we did, bring down what we didn't do. You can see why it's important to be neat. If we don't neatly bring down the things, then we lose them somewhere. All right, check to make sure we've cleared multiplication or division. That's an addition, that's a subtraction, and those are the only operations that are left. So that's clear. Now we're doing addition or subtraction, whichever comes first as I come across here. And this is what comes first. It's an addition. 66 plus 287. 7 plus 6 is 13. 8 plus 6 is 14 plus 1 is 15. And 1 plus 2 is 3. I get 353. I'm going to point something out here. Notice when I had 7 times 41, I flipped it to 41 times 7 because it worked in our algorithm just fine. That's because I was allowed to do that because multiplication is commutative. It can go in any order. 3 times 22, I flipped it 22 times 3 to fit into our algorithm a little bit better because I was allowed to do that because multiplication is commutative. Over here I did 66 plus 287. I like my higher digit numbers where they have more digits in them on top compared to on bottom. I'm allowed to do that because addition is commutative. You can go in either order. On our next one, it's subtraction, and that is not commutative. If I have to go in the proper order. So even if I would rather not flip it around, even if I would rather flip it around, I cannot. So just a heads up on that. I can flip these around because it's multiplication. I can flip these around because it's addition, but I cannot do it on subtraction. Just a heads up. Just wanted to put that in your brains. All right. Last operation left. Oh, I forgot to cross off what we did and bring down what we didn't. I brought it down. I just didn't cross it off. Okay, 353 minus 24 is our last operation to get the answer with whatever this variable is. So we will do 353 minus 24. I cannot take 3 and subtract 4 from it, so I have to borrow. 13 subtract 4 is 9. 4 subtract 2 I'm able to do, that's 2. And 3 subtract nothing is 3. N is equal to 329. And that's how you do that. And I always like doing this math, not just because it's like a puzzle for me, but to me I always think of it like a pizza. It makes me hungry for pizza. The original problem is the crust, and the answer is the piece of pepperoni. There's my pizza math. Let's try another. Okay, here's another one. Here's the steps we must do. Multiplication division must happen first before addition or subtraction. We have 4 times 34 plus 6 times 40 minus 66 equals some unknown number. We'll give it the variable n until we can find out what n actually is. This is our puzzle, and if you think you're ready to pause and try it, go ahead and then play when you're ready. Okay, so we have, I wrote it down here so that I could work with it. Use a separate piece of paper, give yourself room. I'm checking for my multiplication division first, starting over here, and here is my first one. I will underline it and do the calculation. 4 times 34, I'm going to flip it because I can. The commutative property of multiplication says so. This is 30 plus 4, and I'll go ahead and do the ones place first. So 4 times 4 is 16. That's not going to fit there, so I do have to carry over. And then 4 times 3 is 12, plus the 1 is 13. So that is 136. Cross off what you did, bring down everything you haven't done yet. New puzzle. Check for any multiplication division. It has to clear first, starting here. Nope, that's addition, keep going. Oh, hello, that's our new challenge there. 6 times 40. I want to flip it and do 40 times 6, and I'm allowed to because of the commutative property of multiplication. 6 times 0 is 0. And 6 times 4 is 24. So that is 240. Cross off what you did, bring down everything you didn't do in that step. Check and see, that's addition, that's subtraction, there's no other operations. I have cleared that step. And so now I can look for the addition subtraction, whichever comes first, starting from left going to the right, and it's addition that shows up first, right here. 136 plus 240. 6 plus 0 is 6, 3 plus 4 is 7, and 1 plus 2 is 3. 376. Cross off what you did, bring down what you didn't, and it is our last operation to do this subtraction. No ability to flip that around because subtraction is not commutative, right? 6 subtract 6 can be done, I just won't have anything left. 7 subtract 6 can be done, I will have 1 left. and 3 subtract nothing is 3. The final answer, 310, is what that unknown number was. N equals 310. How did you do? Did you get stuck in there? Did you get all the way through and get the correct answer? Either way, good job. Let's try another one where you can pause it and try it on your own. Okay, here's our next one. Number 4, pause it if you want to give it a shot. Do it on a separate piece of paper. Give your math elbow room. It likes elbow room. And then play when you get stuck or play when you get an answer to check it. We have 2 times 62. I wrote it down here. 2 times 62 plus 8 times 22 minus 53 equals some unknown number. We'll give it the variable n. We're going to clear all multiplication division before we do any addition subtraction, starting from left to right. And here is the first one that needs to be done. 2 times 62. Since multiplication is commutative, I'm going to flip that around for my algorithm. 62 times 2. That is 60 plus 2. So I will do the 2 times 2 first to get 4. And then the 2 times the 60. We're already in the tens place, right? So 2 times 6 is 12. So that gave us 124. Cross off what you did. Bring down what you didn't do. I really highly suggest that you do those steps. I see so many errors when kids forget to do that, and if they try to do too much at once and then they make an error. It's worth the time to cross off one step, bring down everything else, and start again. Have we cleared this step yet? Let's see. That's addition. Oops, nope, there's multiplication. That has to happen before the addition can. That is 8 times 22, but since multiplication is commutative, I'm going to flip that around so that I can have my algorithm this way. This is 20 plus 2 for 22. We'll do the 8 times 2 first. 8 times 2 is 16. Won't fit there. We'll have to carry over. And 8 times 2 is 16 again, plus 1 more is 17. Cross off what you did. Bring down what you haven't done. And we start the game again. Check for any multiplication or division. Nope. Nope. Okay, those are cleared. Excellent. Check. Any addition or subtraction, whichever comes first as I come across here, and it looks like the addition shows up first. 124 plus 176. 124 plus 176. 4 plus 6 is 10. That carries over. 1 plus 2 is 3, and 3 plus 7 is 10. That carries over. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. That comes out to an even 300. Cross off what you did. Bring down what you didn't do. And now we are simply down to the subtraction step. So we will do 300 minus 53 cannot be flipped around. Subtraction is not commutative. Okay, 0 minus 3. Oh no, can't do that. Can't borrow either. Oh, he'll go borrow first. So he borrows from here and becomes a 10. And now there's enough to borrow from there to be this 10. 10 minus 3. Now we can do it. 7. 9 minus 5 is 4. And 2 minus nothing is 2. Our final answer is that n, that unknown number that we gave the variable n, is 247. We have solved the mystery. Excellent work. How did you do? I hope you got it right. Or if you didn't, that's okay. I hope you caught where your error was so you can learn from that. We'll do one more together on the video. All right, give this one a shot. Pause the video, see how far you get, or see if you get an answer, and if it's correct, we'll check it. Okay, I'm checking for all of my multiplication division starting from left to right, and this is the first operation I'm going to do. 6 times 13. I'll flip it though. 13 times 6. I'm allowed to. It's commutative. Commutative property of multiplication allows that. So 13 times 6. This is 10 plus 3 to make 13. I'll do the 6 times 3 first. That is 18. That requires a carryover. And 6 times 1 is 6, plus 1 more is 7. Cross off what I did. Bring down everything I didn't do. And now I will check for any more multiplication or division starting here and going across. Nope, that's addition, keep going. And oh, hello, 9 times 34 is multiplication. I'd like to have my multiple digit number on top. I want the 34 on top and then the 9 on bottom, and I'm allowed to do 34 times 9 in place of 9 times 34 because of the, yes, commutative property of multiplication. Oopsie, wrong number there. This is 30 plus 4. I'll do the 9 times 4 first. That's 36. That won't fit here. I have to carry it over. 36. And then 9 times 3 is 27, plus this 3 carry over, 28, 29, 30. We got 306 on that. Cross off what you did. Bring down the things that you didn't do yet. Multiplication, no. Division, no. Multiplication, division, no. We have cleared all of that. And now we can go down to the next step of add or subtract. Starting here, which one comes first? The addition does. And addition is commutative. I can flip that around. I'm going to do 306 plus 78. Six plus 8 is 14. 1 plus 7 is 8. And 3 plus nothing is 3. We get 384. Cross off what you did, bring down what you didn't do. And my last operation left is subtract. That is not commutative. This one does have to go first. 384 minus 22. 4 minus 2 is 2. 8 minus 2 is 6. And 3 minus nothing is 3. My final answer, 362, is what that unknown number n was. We have solved the mystery, and I want to make that a pizza crust. The answer is the pepperoni. There you go. You might need more practice on this. We can practice together in class on as many as you need to feel confident about it. If you feel like you've got this and you feel very confident already, you can go ahead and go on to Think Central and do the assignment on your own.